Welcome back to Grammar Grade 7. This is Unit 12, Lesson 68, and it's our fourth trip into the world of commas. Today, the comma takes on three neat jobs that show up constantly in real writing. It sets off the exact words people say, it dresses up the greeting and closing of a letter, and it can even rescue a sentence that would otherwise be misread. Let's take a look. Before we dive in, here's the big picture. In every case today, the comma is doing one gentle thing, keeping a quotation and a letter clear. We'll see it in three places. First, a comma sets off a direct quotation, the exact words someone speaks. Second, a comma follows the greeting of a friendly letter and the closing of any letter. And third, a comma can step in to prevent a misreading, rescuing a sentence that would otherwise confuse your reader. One comma, three clear jobs. Let's meet them one at a time. Let's begin with a direct quotation, the exact words a speaker says. There are two orders to know, and we'll take them one at a time. When the speaker comes first, you put a comma right after the speaker tag, just before the opening quotation mark. Listen. He asked, "Where are we?" The words he asked introduce the quotation. Then a comma steps in, and only then do we open the quotation marks. That little comma is the hinge between who is talking and what they say. Now flip the order. When the quotation comes first, the comma has a special home. It goes inside the closing quotation marks, right before them. Watch closely. "I'm ready," she said. Notice where that comma lands. It sits after ready, but before the closing quote, tucked inside. "Then," she said, finishes the sentence. Writers often want to drop the comma outside the quotes, but it belongs inside, snug against the last word of the quotation. Letters have comma habits of their own. Start at the top with the greeting. A friendly letter, the kind you write to someone you know, opens its greeting with a comma. Picture writing to your grandmother, "Dear Grandma," and then the comma. That comma tells the reader the greeting is finished and your message is about to begin. One quick warning though, a business letter is more formal, so its greeting takes a colon instead, like, "Dear Mr. Alvarez." But for the friendly notes you write most, the greeting ends with a comma. Now drop to the bottom of the letter, where you sign off. This part is called the closing, and here the rule is beautifully simple. Every closing takes a comma, no matter what kind of letter it is. Write "sincerely" with a comma. Write "your friend" with a comma. Friendly or formal, warm or businesslike, the closing always ends with a comma, right before you sign your name. Our last job is a small hero move. Sometimes a sentence reads fine in your head, but tangles on the page, and a single comma untangles it. Look at this without a comma. "Outside the dog barked." For a heartbeat, your reader sees "outside the dog," as if something is outside the dog, and then has to back up. Add one comma. "Outside the dog barked." Now the word "outside" stands on its own. The dog barked is clear, and no one stumbles. A comma in the right spot can rescue a whole sentence. Let's fold it all into a quick check. 1. Are you writing down someone's exact words? Set that quotation off with a comma, before it or inside the closing quotes. 2. Are you writing the greeting or the closing of a letter? Add a comma, and remember a colon only for a business greeting. 3. Could your sentence be misread for even a second? Slip in a comma to clear it up. In every case, the comma is doing the same kind work, keeping your meaning clear. Ready to practice a few together? Time to practice. In this first set, I'll read a sentence, and you decide where the comma belongs. Pause the video and think it through before I reveal each answer. The coach said, "Great job today." Where does the comma belong? The speaker comes first here, the coach said, and then the quotation follows. When the speaker leads, you drop a comma right after the speaker tag, just before the opening quote. So the answer is, the coach said, comma, and then the quotation. "I lost my key," Ravi muttered. This time, the quotation comes first, so the comma has to tuck inside the closing quotation marks, right after key and before the quote closes. So the answer is, "I lost my key, comma, inside the quotes." Then Ravi muttered. After we ate, the dishes piled up. Read it once, and you might see "we ate the dishes," which isn't the meaning at all. A comma after the opening part clears it up. After we ate, comma, the dishes piled up. So the answer is the version with the comma after ate. Nicely done. In this second set, we'll work with letters and quotations. Read each choice carefully and pick the one that is punctuated correctly. Pause and choose before I answer. Choose the correct greeting for a friendly letter. A friendly letter greets its reader and then takes a comma, not a colon. "Dear Grandpa" with a comma is the friendly form. The colon would belong in a formal business letter. So the answer is "Dear Grandpa" with a comma. Choose the correct closing. Every closing, friendly or formal, ends with a comma before your name. "Your friend" with a comma is the correct sign-off. So the answer is the version with the comma. "We won the game," Talia shouted. Why is that comma there? It sits inside the closing quotation marks, separating the exact words from "Talia shouted." That's a comma setting off a direct quotation. So the answer is direct quotation. Let's gather up what we learned. A comma sets off a direct quotation, sitting after the speaker tag when the speaker comes first, and tucking inside the closing quotes when the quotation comes first. A comma follows the greeting of a friendly letter and the closing of any letter, while a business greeting takes a colon. And a comma can prevent a misreading, rescuing a sentence that would otherwise trip your reader up. In every case, that small mark keeps your meaning clear. Wonderful work today. In our next lesson, we'll keep building your comma skills. I'll see you there.